Objective Geology, multiple choice questions with answers. This is the solved question paper of Union Public Service Commission 2021 Combined Geoscientist exam. And I hope this solved question paper is useful for various competitive exams like CSIR, NET, ONGC, GSI, GATE and other exams. Welcome to set 2. Coming to the first question. The outcrop pattern of beds that dip downstream at an angle less than the gradient of the stream, which forms a point V, which points A in the upstream direction, B in the downstream direction, C perpendicular to the direction of the river flow, and D in strike direction of the beds parallel to the flow of the river. So the correct option is A in the upstream direction. The outcrop pattern of the beds that dip downstream at an angle less than the gradient of the stream, which follows a V pattern. So that means the V rule it is nothing but a dipping surface that outcrops into a valley or on a ridge. It will give rise to a V-shaped outcrop. So the way of the outcrop pattern, it depends on the dip of the geological surface relative to the topography. So A in the upstream direction is the correct answer. Next question. In a structural contour map, homoclines are distinguished by. Choices are A. Inclined contour lines that cut a bedding plane with regular elevation interval, and B. Subparallel contour lines that steadily decrease or increase in elevation value across the face of the map, and C. Subparallel contour lines that always runs orthogonal to the bedding planes, and D. Parallel contour lines that also run parallel to the bedding plane. So the correct answer is homoclines are distinguished by subparallel contour lines that steadily decrease or increase in elevation value across the face of a map. On a topographic map, the landforms associated with the homoclines, they exhibit nearly parallel elevation contour lines that show a steady change in elevation in a given direction. In the subsurface, they are characterized by parallel structure contour lines. So B is the correct answer. Next question. Rake can be defined as, so what is a rake in structural geology? So A, geometrical relationship between the plane in which line is found with respect to original structures. B, angle between the plane and the horizontal datum line. C, angle between a line and the strike line of the plane which contains that line. And D, angle between a line and a plane. So what is a rake? So the correct answer is rake. In structural geology, rake can be defined as the angle between a line and the strike line of the plane which contains that line. So rake or pitch, it is formally defined as the angle between a line and the strike line of the plane in which it is found, and it is measured on the plane. The three-dimensional orientation of a line can be described with just a plunge and a trend. So C is the correct option. Next question. Which one of the following coal constituents is hard, compact and has a granular texture? A. Vitrine, B. Durine, C. Clarine, and D. Fusine. So the correct answer is B. Durine. Durine is essentially a dull component of the coal, often with a suggestion of slightly greasy black in overall appearance, and is usually harder than the bright coal. And it is hard, compact, and it has a granular texture. B. Durine is the correct option. Next question. If the indices of any crystal phase are rational numbers and are determined by dividing the intercepts of any phase into the intercepts of the parametal plane and clearing fraction, that which intercepts A, B and C. So the indices will be A 101, B 111 and C 001 and D 100. So the correct answer is B 111. Next question. Bauxite is a mixture of A. Edgerine and jadeite, B. Steatite, ephrite, mullite and enstatite, C. Gibbsite, diaspore and boehmite, and D. Tremolite, glucophane and rebecite. So bauxite is a mixture of C, that is gibbsite, diaspore and boehmite. It's a mixture of various aluminum oxides, hydroxides and silicates, iron oxide and titanium oxide. So bauxite is a mixture of gibbsite, diaspore and boehmite. Next question. A few non-metallic minerals are often found associated with an ore mineral. So these have to be separated from the ore before the same is processed for extraction of the metal. So these associated minerals are called A. ore minerals, B. gangue minerals, C. syngenetic minerals, D. supergene minerals. So the correct answer is B. gangue minerals. Gangue, it refers to the impurities in the ore such as the sand and stony stuff, etc. Next question. Which one of the following group of minerals are classified with sulfides? A. bromides, B. fluorides, D. arsenides, C. arsenides, and D. arsenides. So arsenides are the halides. So D is the correct option. Next question. Opal is a mineral that displays iridescence or play of the colors when rotated or observed from different directions because of A. interference of the ray of the light by minute globules of water trapped in the outer layer of the crystal lattice, and B. interference of the ray of the light by distortions in the crystal lattice, and C. on account of the mineral inclusions, D. interference of the light reflected from the thin plates of other minerals enclosed or exsolved in parallel planes within the crystal. So opal, it exhibits iridescence or the play of the colors when rotated from different directions because of the interference of the ray of the light by minute water droplets which are trapped in the outer layer of the crystal lattice. So A is the correct option. Next question. Pleochroism representing change of the colors upon the rotation of the microscope stage under plane polarized light in some minerals is characterized by A. two extremes of color seen twice during the complete 360 degrees rotation, and B. four extremes of color seen twice during a complete 360 degrees rotation, and C. two extremes of color seen twice during a 90 degrees rotation, and D. four extremes of color seen twice during a 90 degrees rotation. So the correct answer is pleochroism is nothing but the change of the colors upon rotation of the microscope stage under plane polarized light and is characterized by two extremes of color seen twice during a complete 360 degrees rotation. So pleochroism is a term used to describe the color variation for destructive interference with the polarization direction of the light, which depends on the orientation of the material in the light path and is characteristic of anisotropic materials only. A is the correct option. Next question. In alkali feldspar, a coupled substitution occurs when A. addition of one silicon ion in the framework structure to make a covalent bond in alkali feldspar. B. one aluminum ion plus one sodium ion enter in the framework structure and replace one silicon ion. In addition, fill a vacant site. And C. one silicon ion is replaced by the one sodium ion to balance one ion of oxygen. And D. one oxygen ion in addition enter in the framework structure to balance the charge of silicon and aluminum. So the correct answer is a coupled substitution occurs when one aluminum ion plus one sodium ion enter the framework structure and replace one silicon ion, and in addition they fill a vacant site. For instance, when a plagioclase feldspar solid solution series forms in passing from albite, that is NaAlSi3O8 to anardite, that is CaAl to Si2O8, aluminium 3 plus, it replaces silicon 4 plus, and this leaves a negative charge that is balanced by the coupled substitution of calcium for sodium, that is Ca2 plus for Na plus. So B is the correct option. Next question. Garnet in situ deposits are generally associated with A. sedimentary rocks only, B. igneous rocks only, C. metamorphic rocks, and D. sedimentary and igneous rocks. Garnet in situ deposits are generally associated with the metamorphic rocks. In most metamorphic rocks, garnets are typically associated with the mica minerals and other metamorphic minerals such as staurolite, kyanite, and sillimanite. Calcium-rich garnet varieties usually form in metamorphosed carbonate rocks where they may be found with calcite, wollastonite, or metallic ore deposits. So C, metamorphic rocks is the correct option. Next question. Variation in the refractive index in Al2SiO5 polymorphs is due to A. polarization of some light in the form of interference color, B. ferric iron and manganese entering the structure, C. thickness of thin section that retard velocity of light, and D. transmission of light with equal velocity in all directions. So the correct answer is variation in the refractive index in Al2SiO5 polymorphs is due to ferric iron and manganese entering the structure. Next question. The ray velocity surface of an anisotropic crystal is an ellipsoid because anisotropic crystals A. Transmit light with the same velocities in different directions. B. Transmit light with different velocities in different directions. C. Absorb all the transmitted light. And D. Have lower refractive index than air. So the correct answer is B. They transmit light with different velocities in different directions. Next question. Mineral quartz shows twinning according to Brazil law, twin plane 1120, and Duffine law, twin axis is Z axis. But this twinning is not detectable under microscope because A. Twin plane 1120 is always perpendicular to the twin axis, that is C axis, and B. Both 1120 and C axis are in the extinction position in twin plane direction, and C. Optic orientation in both the twin parts is identical in both the types of twin, and D. Optic orientation in both the twin parts is not identical in both types of twin. So the correct answer is mineral quartz shows twinning according to Brazil law and Duffine law. And this twinning is not detectable under the microscope because optic orientation in both the twin parts is identical in both types of twins. So C is the correct option. Next question. When basaltic lava enters into water bodies, it tends to form large sac-like bodies. These are known as A. Pehoy lavas, B. Yeye lavas, C. Pillow lavas, and D. Lahars. So the correct option is C. Pillow lavas. Pillow lavas in volcanic rocks, they are characterized by thick sequences of discontinuous pillow-shaped masses, commonly up to 1 meter in diameter. So C. Pillow lavas is the correct option. Next question. Igneous rocks formed by gravity settling of the crystals in the magma chamber floor, they represent A. Pillowtastic texture, B. Variolitic texture, C. Cumulophyric texture, D. Cumulate texture. So the correct option is igneous rocks formed by gravity settling of the crystals in the magma chamber floor. They represent cumulate texture. So the term cumulate, it is proposed as a group name for igneous rocks which are formed by crystal accumulation. So after accumulation of the crystals precipitate various ways of completing the crystallization processes, it leads to differences in the rock finally which are produced. So C, D, cumulate texture is the correct answer. Next question. Which one of the following rocks contain nearly equal amount of alkali feldspar and plagioclase feldspar with approximately 10% quartz? So A. Quartzcyanide, B. Quartz monzonite, C. Quartz monzodiorite, and D. Monzocyanide. So the correct option is B. Quartz monzonite. Quartz monzonite is an intrusive felsic igneous rock that has an approximately equal proportion of orthoclase and plagioclase feldspars. It is typically a light colored pheneritic, that is coarse grained, to porphyritic granitic rock, and the plagioclase is typically intermediate to sodic in composition, andesite to oligoclase. So the correct option is B. Quartz monzonite. Next question. During fractionation, separated crystals of pyroxene, that is augite, and intermediate plagioclase feldspar form a crystallized rock is known as A. Websterite, B. Lehergolite, and C. Pyroxenite, and D. Gabbro. So the correct answer is Gabbro. Gabbro is nothing but it's a phaneritic or coarse grained mafic intrusive igneous rock formed from the slow cooling of magnesium rich and iron rich magma into a hollow crystalline mass which is deep beneath the earth's surface. And this slow cooling coarse grained gabbro is chemically equivalent to rapid cooling fine grained basalt. So D. Gabbro is the correct option. Next question. Rhyolitic magmas tend to rise in large dome-like bodies known as. So when rhyolitic magmas tend to rise in large dome-like structures, they are known as Plinian plumes, A, B, diatremes, C, diapirs, and D, Phreatoplinian. So the correct answer is diapirs. Diapirs, they commonly intrude buoyantly upward along fractures or zones of weakness or structural weakness through denser overlying rocks, and this process is known as diapirism. The resulting structures are known as diapirs or piercement structures, and in the process the segments of the existing strata, they can be disconnected and pushed upwards. So C, diapirs is the correct one. Hope you have learned some important aspects from this question paper, and see you in the next part. Hope you can subscribe to this channel. Thank you for your time.